Welcome to the Tuesday, December 7th, Montgomery County Commission meeting. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Commissioner Lieberman,
Here.
Commissioner Dodge.
Here. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, we're going to have our 2022 budget presentation. Michael Colbert. Who's that?
I'm right here, Commissioner.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present the 2022 budget presentation. And Commissioners, this budget is a little bit different than probably any budget that we've done, in that it reflects our financial management from 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We made the tough decisions during that year to cut $29 million out of the budget, but to also make sure that all of our employees had jobs. We didn't have to furlough anybody. Coming into 21, we budgeted very conservatively on estimates based on declining sales tax. And what we found in 2021 is that sales tax outperformed better than estimates. This put us on track for 2022. And while our foot is not totally on the gas, we are able to reinstate some of the initiatives that are vitally important to you and to the citizens of Montgomery County. So we start off with your core mission. Commissioners, you've made a commitment that we create value by investing in people, in our economy, our businesses, our workforce, and our citizens, the 500,000 people throughout Montgomery County, lead a safe, healthy, and productive life. And we try to make investments throughout the county so that regardless of what neighborhood, rural, urban, or where you're at throughout the county, you are impacted by the initiatives that are made. So we'll start off with the 2022 budget highlights. These are the key initiatives, primarily funded through sales tax and the commitments that we made a few years ago, but we have a few additions. $12.2 million, $900,000 for our arts and culture. That's up an additional $100,000. Facilities at $1.5 million. Preschool Promise, our investment in our little ones. We know that if we continue to invest in them while they're small, the outcomes for them in life are much, much better. Strategic community projects. These are projects, Commissioners, that allow you to invest when we find things in the community that we think enhance our community, and we can move forward in those areas. Our EDGE program, we fully fund up to $2.5 million. If you remember, in 2020 and partially in 2021, we had pulled back the EDGE program. We reinstated it in 2021, and this cycle is the funding cycle that we brought it up to 100%. We only had one funding cycle instead of two in 2021. Westtown Leadership Academy. This is our major investment in the Northwest Corridor. It is a workforce, but it also has our centers for our youth. It has our enhancements for individuals to get job training and job recruitment. And it gives us an operation in the Northwest Corridor that the citizens ask for. And it's all about getting people self-sustained, getting people into employment and opportunity. Our 2022 revenue highlights all funds. Now again, this is the all funds, and then I'll dive in to some of the secondary funds in a minute. $937 million. This is up 5.5%. The primary driver areas are our taxes, both sales and real estate. Our charges for services at $292 million, and then our other financing sources. Our highlight in the all funds, or in the total fund budget, is 5.6% increase in water and sewer rates. This is all part of the 2018 5-year water sewer rate, so this is not a new rate. This was basically the same addition that was already committed to in 2018. A 17.2% hotel motel tax growth. We expect that hotel motel taxes plummeted in 2020 and partially in 2021, so we expect a huge pickup in hotel motel tax in 2022. Indigent defense reimbursement. Commissioners, you have spent years championing this at the state level through your partnership with CCAO, the County Commissioners Association of the State of Ohio. We saw this increase in ranges from 50% to 75% and now at 100%. And the three of you have been really straightforward in letting the state know that we need to pay for indigent defense. We need to make sure both that it's not a county expense, but also that people have the opportunity for legal aid if they need that. And then finally, we have stabilized through our fiscal team, our revenue, both in Stillwater and JFS. Job and Family Services is our largest agency, but it has a huge local mandate in order to share the federal, or to partner with the federal dollars. So we have stabilized our revenue in those areas. The 2022 expense highlights all funds at $953 million. It's up about 6.3%. Our largest drivers in this area are personnel services at $338 million, professional services at $236 million, and our operating expenses at $147 million. Some key drivers here are $25.6 million for our environmental services capital projects. The drone footage that you see now is overhead footage of our Western Regional sewer operation. This plant is one of the largest operations that we have in the county. We also expect a 5.5% salary perimeter increase, and we have additional positions that were froze during 2020 and 21 that we are now unfreezing, plus we have additional recruitment of the county due to retirements and attrition that we want to make sure that we get into this budget. Now we move into the general fund. This is the sub-fund of the All Funds Commission, but this is our main operating fund. And in governmental accounting, it's based on a series of fund types. So it's general fund, capital projects fund, enterprise funds. So our general fund, think of it as the key operating fund of the county. $190.9 million is our budget as far as revenue, up 12%, primarily due to taxes and primarily due to our projection for sales tax. Intergovernmental will also be at 25.4 and charges for services at 17.7. Our highlights here are a 15.1% estimated sales tax growth. We continue to see sales tax grow across the state, and some of the economic development initiatives and incentives that you have done, commissioners, have brought more and more businesses to the local area. This is generating more sales tax. We also expect after the property tax reevaluation, a $2.3 million increase in overall property taxes. We think investment income will really kind of plateau based on the type of investments, which are very limited in what government can invest in, and the fact that interest rates are pretty much steady or none. We also know that local government fund distributions will continue to grow, and we think they'll be up by $1.4 million. 2022 expense highlights in the general fund at $190.9 million. The general fund has to be completely balanced, so revenue equals expenses, and it is up 12% again. The largest area here is personnel services at the bottom, followed by transfers out, things that we use the general fund to match for, and then professional services. Personnel services essentially are our employees. Our highlights here, 3% or $3.8 million to restore the budget for all departments, $11.2 million in strategic initiatives that I talked a little bit about earlier in the first slide, $2 million for equipment, vehicles, hardware, and software. For the first time in our history, we now have fleet balanced, so it is no longer in the negative. And some of the initiatives we eventually would like to do with fleet, you have championed to lower our carbon footprint and to add electric vehicles or the ability for electric vehicles to plug in. Public Defender's Office assumes additional felony casework, they now have the resources due to the incident defense to add case management to their array of different tools. And then a big area, Commissioners, to our alternatives to incarceration, expansion of electronic home detention program. This is one of our core prongs. If we can add electronic home detention for those individuals that are not considered violent offenders, there's no reason for them to be incarcerated in the jail awaiting trial. This allows us the ability to expand this, hopefully throughout the county, but we gave the necessary funding to move this forward. The American Rescue Plan, while it is not part of our main operating budget, Commissioners, at $103.3 million, it is part of our project appropriation budget. So we budget it over the life of the projects. In this case, it's 4-year projects. And in the American Rescue Plan, now, if you remember, this is a lot different than the CARES Act. When we had the CARES Act last year at $92 million, the CARES Act was basically the federal government giving us dollars and letting us know that here's a pot of money, and as long as you spent this in the area of COVID-19 related expenses, then you were fine. And we got to pick the programs. We got to make and shape the programs. And the Auditor of State recently gave us a clean bill of health in our spending of those dollars. We were also able to push that money, some 85+ million of it, into the community. What's different about the American Rescue Plan is the federal government is telling us how they want it spent in the areas they want it spent in. It is also, we have to be very strategic with these dollars. These are one-time dollars. And they are designed specifically in some key areas, especially infrastructure. So you've already seen our plan, which is already on the line. But our key areas are county services. This is after our survey of all of our elected officials and input that we got back from them on things that they need, making sure that those items were applicable to ARPA. Facilities and infrastructure, key things that we need to do along water and sewer, buildings, facilities that enhance the public service level. These are the things that make sure that the public has a good experience when they use county services. One of which are in the picture that you see. Enhancements to all of our HVAC systems. This not only helps our employees, but it also enhances our infrastructure. You also see at the top, we were the central depository for the strategic deployment of PPE. So we have to rebuild all of that PPE that we utilize. The Human Services Levy. We are thankful to the public for the passage of the Human Services Levy in November 2021. And as you can see from the map, the Human Services Levy, Commissioner, at 134.8 million services all of the county. It is a very diverse portfolio of services that go throughout the county, whether it's our senior meals, our ADAMIS, our public health. You see from the pictures, we've got vaccine, we've got distribution of PPE, and we've got meals to seniors. We've also got developmental disabilities. All of these programs are central to the levy. The levy is the main funder from the standpoint of the local share. We also use the levy to leverage an additional $100 million of federal money. Now, this is key, and this is key to our financial management to bring in a $250 million financing package to our community. So everyone in the community, in some way, either directly or indirectly, is touched by the Human Services Levy. Now, how do we chop the programs up or the budget by department? Well, the next slide, Commissioner, shows you that. The 2022 expenses by program at $953.9 million, which the number ties directly back to the all funds budget. But this becomes by program, so you can see specifically what are we spending some of the areas in. At 44.5% of that, social services is the largest piece at $424 million. The biggest area, $141.6 million, is human services planning and development, which of course is our levy and our levy related services. Job and Family Services being the largest agency in the county at $142.1 million. and developmental disabilities at 56.2, and animus at 35. And then the list goes on down from there. Judicial and law enforcement at $202.9 million is 21.3% of the budget. Our sheriff and our jail complex at $65.4 million. We continue to support the sheriff with the positions that he needs. We also support the sheriff with the modernization of the jail complex, which he continues to do. Juvenile court at $26.1 million. That also entails the juvenile court facility and the operations of the court. JFS and children's services at $16.9 million. And then our non-departmental at $16.3 million. The picture you see is Judge David Brennan in the court in one of our adoption days. I think it was the adoption day this year, actually. Our next area is governance and debt at $158.5 million, or 16.6%. Largest area being administrative services, which has a various of services, purchasing, risk and safety, our service depot, all of those areas there. The auditor, who is the fiscal officer for the county, distributing the checks. And you can see a picture of him now with dog tags up in Huber Heights. Our non-departmental, our treasurer at $5.6 million, the chief fiduciary of dollars for the county as far as investment and banking. Our business services, our board of elections, which is the picture that you see in the top, our data processing, and our recorder. Environmental and public works at $153.9 million, or 16.1%. The two pictures that you see, Commissioner, the one to the right and the top, is the shredder that we used during the tornado to shred all the trees in the Trotwood Harrison Township area and clear the way for DP&L and Vectron to restore power and gas. The bottom video that you see is drone video again of our sewer, our SMART project, and the team is preparing to put the SMART ball in the sewer line so they can do an evaluation of the condition of the sewer. The biggest area here is environmental services at $135.4 million. And our county engineer, the work Paul's done recently in opening the 3rd Street Bridge is nothing more than spectacular. That's $17.2 million. Community and economic development, $14.1 million, or 1.5%. This encompasses $2.4 million for the Office of Budget and Management, facilities management at 1.6, community economic development at 5.3, and some non-department areas at 4.9. The pictures you see, Commissioners, are Deeds Point Bridge, partnership with the TID, Five Rivers Metro Parks. That was a hot day, Judy, Carolyn. And then our truck driving school. A lot of people know about this, but they don't realize that Montgomery County was instrumental in bringing Ohio Business College to the Ritchie Center side off Salem Avenue in Trotwood. And we see a lot of people going through this course. They are busy around the clock. And a lot of women are getting their CDLs now. So Ohio will need over 1 million truck drivers in the next few years and 11 million nationwide. So just to recap, Commissioners, our key strategic initiatives of 2022. In closing, we presented to you today a balanced general fund budget, 12% increase over the 2021 adopted budget. We deliver key community programming, infrastructure programs, and improvements, and value our county staff. We increase staffing across most departments through the restoration of the budget cuts. We afford innovative areas, and as far as our developmental disabilities and our behavioral health programs, our partnerships to promote a healthy region, including DES, Animus, and public health. We provide high-quality legal services through the delivery of the Public Defender's Office. We expand electronic home detention programs to alleviate high jail population and provide alternatives to incarceration. We also do the key initiatives that you are looking at, and one of them, Commissioners, are broadband. It is important, and one of the things that we have learned from the pandemic is that our young people, both in education, but for all of our people, they have to have access to high-speed internet and the infrastructure accordingly. One of the things that you championed doing 2020 and 2021 was making sure that the infrastructure was there for Chromebooks, for Wi-Fi boxes, and for Wi-Fi in areas that are economically disadvantaged. We want to expand that throughout the county and make sure that our rural areas have an opportunity not only for fiber optic, commissioners, but for subscription opportunity, because the subscriptions themselves can be unattainable. Commissioners, this concludes my report. I'd ask that you're doing the resolution process, that you would approve this budget. I want to put special thanks out to the Office of Budget and Management. John Parks and his team have been fantastic. O&B staff, please stand. I'd also, commissioners, recognize all of the financial and fiscal teams that are in the individual departments. Our O&B team is only as good as the information they get back from the departments, and they've done a fantastic job. And last but not least, our department heads and our communications team. Deb and the communications team are truly professional. We're blessed to have them, and anytime that I get an opportunity to represent the county, they always make us look good. Any questions, commissioners?
I was just going to say thank you and thanks to the staff and also the elected officials who stepped up and worked with our staff to work on this budget. So thank you. Thanks to all of them.
I just want to add, I'm really proud of the work that we've done. You and your team, Michael. When you look across the country, I spent last week in Atlanta at a NACO conference, and we're doing all right compared to other places who laid off hundreds and hundreds. It was all metro counties pretty much, and they laid off hundreds of employees. And so now they're having to use their ARPA dollars to try to bring them back. But John and team and Michael and department heads and as Judy said, all of our elected officials, we're not through the pandemic, we know that, but we got through some of the darkest days, and we were still able to provide services to our citizens that we had to provide. So thank you, and I look forward to 2022, and we're going to be able to get some nice things done. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I would chime in as well. Can you hear me? We've been through a lot as a community, pandemic on top of everything. I know we've talked about it a lot, but this budget just shows, I think that our community really, whenever I tell anybody about this area, Montgomery County, this region, no matter what you throw at us, we will come back and come back strong. This is an example of coming back strong, but we didn't lose our way in the middle. And that's what makes me, when I look at it, all of you, each and every one of you and the thousands of other employees have played a part. And we are forever grateful that we have the excellent staff in all the departments who don't let things like this get in the way of doing a fantastic job for our community. And we're always trying to improve and do better tomorrow. And there's a lot of strategic things that we're anxious to get on with. And I can tell you that I agree, Debbie, with you. When we look out at other counties, one of the strengths of this area, I think it's part of our DNA, and I know I sound like a recording, but we're very innovative, we're very creative, we're very collaborative, and we're so used to it that we take it for granted, but we should not take it for granted. It's a special quality about this area and the people who live here. And we are going to have a better future, and 2022 is just the next step in that. So thank you, Michael. Thank you to every individual who does your part, and let's have a great 2022.
Commissioners, I'd finally like to just say thanks for your support. Coming in when John and I were running the numbers and looking at some of the pain that would happen in cutting the budget, you held strong. The three of you held strong, and it was tough. It's tough to come in with $30 million worth of budget cuts and then come into a very conservative 2021, not knowing what was going to happen. We ended up with a great 2021. But you made the tough decisions, commissioners, and I applaud you, and I'm thankful for your support, and my entire team is, so thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
County engineer.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Administrators, good job. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just two resolutions today. Resolution 21-1487. These are amendments to agreements. W.G. Stang LLC for the Peters Pike and Lower Miamisburg Road Culvert Project in Butler and Miami Townships by adding $17,512.48 to the original amount for a revised total of $224,884.98. And 1488 is with Brumbaugh Construction Inc. for the Baltimore-Phillipsburg Road Bridge reconstruction project in Clay Township by adding $1,927.25 to the original amount for a revised total of $247,124.25.
I move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Domestic relations, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. Under Domestic Relations Court, we have Resolution 1489, authorizing an agreement with Sinclair Community College for the Court of Common Pleas annual meeting in an amount not to exceed $939.88.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
County administrator.
Under the County Administrator, under the Clerk's Office, we have approved the minutes of the meetings on November 30th, 2021, Resolution 1490, approving of bills, and Resolution 1491, approval of travel and expenses. Both of those lists are available in the Clerk's Office.
I move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Administrative services, Tyler.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have three quick resolutions for your consideration today. The first of which is 1492. This is the approval of personnel actions. This list is available in the clerk's office. 1493 extends the price agreement with RD Holder Oil for on-site fueling service for the Environmental Services Department through December 31st of 2022. And last is 1494, which authorizes an agreement with Brixey & Meyer Incorporated for human resources and business consulting services for the Human Resources Department in an amount not to exceed $10,000 through March 31st of 2022.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Environmental services, Matt.
Thank you, Commissioners. Got Resolution 1495, reject the bids received for the Habitat and Summit Med Lift Station and Force Main Replacement Project. Approve the revised engineering estimate of $3,500,000 and re-advertise for the same. Resolution 1496, solicit requests for qualifications for consultant services for the Joint Water Model Update and Master Plan Development. Resolution 1497, accept the subdivider's contract from David Cronin for the Brooklands Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Development. And the following two are to participate in the Water Resource Restoration Sponsor Program for various agencies in association with the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund administered by the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency. First is Resolution 1498 with Metro Parks Toledo, and the last one is 1499 with Appalachia Ohio Alliance.
I move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
OMB, John.
Good afternoon. OMB has two resolutions for your consideration today. 1500, exempt all calendar year 2022 Montgomery County purchases of $1,000 or less from the requirement of ORC 5705.41D1 that a certificate of the fiscal officer be attached to any contract or order involving expenditure of money as permitted under 5705.41D2. And 1501, approved the 2022 permanent appropriation of $953,996,261 for all county offices and agencies appropriated on a calendar year basis.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Thank
You're welcome. I would like to express my appreciation to Commission and County Administrator for allowing our office to put forth this budget, and the hard work and dedication of the OMB staff and the fiscal officers, as Michael mentioned, in all the departments, with the elected officials and the agency directors. The cooperation and collaboration is extraordinary among counties, and I think that our citizens should feel very confident this is a solid budget plan and is that will be very good stewards of their tax dollars.
Human Services, Tom.
Good afternoon. I have two actions this afternoon. The first one is under Human Services Planning and Development. Resolution 21-1502 will authorize an agreement for the release of funds collected in 2022 to the Young Women's Christian Association, also known as the YWCA of Dayton, for the operation of a shelter for victims of domestic violence in an amount not to exceed all fees collected through January 15th of 2023. And then under the Department of Job and Family Services, Resolution 21-1503 will authorize an affiliation agreement with Wright State University to provide educational field experiences for undergraduate candidates pursuing a degree in social work program through December 31st of 2024.
I move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
On 1503, Tom, have we done that in the past?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
Yes, this is primarily where the many of our caseworkers come from in children's services. They're
Great.
getting an advanced degree.
Great,
Thank you.
Business Services, Chris. He's over there. Oh, okay. He's ready, okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. I have several resolutions for you today. The first two authorize purchases through the Omnia Partners Cooperative Contract with the BCC IT Department. First one is 1504 Infotech Research Group for Software and Hardware Annual Training in an amount not to exceed $44,221.67 through January 12th, 2023. 1505 Kronos Inc. for Hardware and Software Annual Maintenance Services an amount not to exceed $201,783.07 through February 28th, 2023. Under Workforce, we have 1506, exercise an option to extend the agreement with Wesley Community Center for Job Readiness Basic Skills Workshops for employable adults in an amount not to exceed $20,000 through December 31st, 2022. The next two authorize agreements to provide job readiness basic skills workshops for employable adults through December 31st, 2022, with options to extend. 1507 Omega Community Development Corporation, an amount not to exceed $30,000. 1508 Council for Community Outreach and Development, an amount not to exceed $15,000. Under Community and Economic Development, we have 1509 terminate the agreement with William F. Bergman for backup plans examiner consulting services for the Building Regulations Department, effective November 22nd, 2021. And the last three authorize delegation of activities agreement utilizing CDBG funds through December 31st, 2022. First one's 1510 Rebuilding Together Dayton for the operation of a community development block grant in an amount not to exceed $75,000. 1511 Harrison Township for the South Fork McKinley Infrastructure Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $36,000. And 1512 Washington Township for the Washington Township Town Hall Theater Improvement Project, amount not to exceed $86,445.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone signed up to speak? Comments by County Administrator?
Thank you, Commissioners. You know, this year, Montgomery County kicked off our dog licensing season just last week. State law requires all dogs to be licensed, and the license allows the dog, if it's found, to be quickly returned to home. I just got my notification in the mail. So the licensing process is incredibly easy for area dog owners. You can purchase your 2022 dog license online at mcohio.org/dogs. Again, that's mcohio.org/dogs. In just a few clicks, You can also buy a dog license in person here at the County Administration Building, at the Animal Resource Center. So please take advantage of this, get your dog a license. That way if your dog goes out or comes off the leash or gets out of the house somewhere, you can pick your dog up and return to owner. Thank you, Commissioners.
You know, Michael, one of the pictures in the presentation of the budget was Carl with the first dog, who was a Heber Heights canine officer. And that's a great picture, but and I teased him about it today. I don't know if everybody saw the video.
Yes, I did.
The dog got so excited to see Carl that he knocked him over and knocked over the whole the whole podium. But the dog was really nice, and so Carl, we were talking about today, and he said, oh yeah, and the officer got really mad because I said how cute he was and how nice he was, and he's like, he's not supposed to be cute and nice, he's an officer, he's a canine. So that was great. I was like, Carl did that up there.
Yeah. Well, and I also have to say that I believe 99% of us here have dogs, so I know we'll all be buying our dog licenses. I think you have more than one to buy. Yeah. I do too, so we'll be buying those licenses. Is Carl here? No, we can give a shout out to Carl. Okay. Well, last week, I had the opportunity to take a tour through Rumpke's recycling facility in Cincinnati last week. What an operation that was. That was quite a few hours there that we spent. We saw their recycling tipping floor where recyclable material was brought in to be processed. Now from there, both people and robots, and now we should see these robots, like nothing I've ever seen, work to sort through recyclable material appropriately. Some machines used vibration, high intensity lights, or robotic eyes to determine what material is made out of and then to sort it out. I've never seen anything like it. It's just constantly on the move. And they had all these ramps with belts that were going back and forth. It was unbelievable. All I can say is those workers deserve a pat on the back because that was something else. It was an amazing opportunity to see how Montgomery County plays a role in the big picture of recycling. So a big thank you to our friends at Rumpke for allowing us to come in to take a look, and we want to do it again soon. It really was fascinating. So
I think it'd be great for, even if you can do a short video or that. Because I know when I'm talking, in my local neighborhood to my neighbors, they pepper me with 1,000 different questions, especially about recycling, because everybody wants to do the right thing. Or I would say, maybe not everybody, but most want to do the right thing. But there are things that you can take and not take. And I think if they could see, just a short 30 seconds or something of where this all ends up, and it's just not Montgomery County. I can only imagine the mountain of recyclables that Rumpke must accept. And,
different counties.
just one more way to show how we're trying to tackle a very important problem to protect the earth.
I think Rumpke does have the video.
Do
They
they?
do. Okay. Thank
So
you.
we
Joe.
can check with them.
Okay. We should put a link to it or something on our website and say, check it out. We don't need to redo what's already
Right.
available.
The robot part is so fascinating.
Oh, that was unbelievable, yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Thanks for mentioning it, Commissioner. So I want to mention that our very own Dr. Michelle Pierce-Mobley, who is the director of our Stillwater Center, made a trip to Newport News, Virginia a couple Saturdays ago to receive a really great honor at the Christian Film Festival. Dr. Pierce-Mobley was awarded the Best Documentary for her personal documentary, An Examination of the Dream. And it was shown at the festival, and I'm really hoping that we all can get a chance to see that someday. It sounds interesting. So congratulations to her. I wish she was here today, but I know she's busy with our residents in Stillwater. So congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of Stillwater, I know the last week, I think I mentioned, especially for employees, but citizens too. I don't know if there's any tags left on the Christmas tree up in the lobby. But it's a giving tree, so it's an opportunity for anyone to purchase gifts for specific residents. And so I know I'm gonna be, up in Columbus at our conference, so I'm gonna be delivering my, gifts to one of the females who lives at, Stillwater, so there's still plenty of time, they're not due till Friday. And so, one of the highlights of my week was I was at the Haynes Children's Center Sunday afternoon, when the Ohio State Coalition of Clubs, which is, that name doesn't mean a lot to me, but when you see them, these are motorcycle clubs. So I was at the Haynes Center, and all of a sudden, here came a procession of, I don't know how many, but there were a lot of motorcycles all in a row, and then followed by trucks filled with brand new bicycles and toys. These members, men and women, collected over $14,000 in donations to purchase brand new bikes. That the bikes alone filled a whole room over at the Haynes, and then there, I believe it was like another room or two full of tables of gifts of all kinds for both girls and boys and all age. And honestly, it was overwhelming. And so they were delivering it. And you know, what's really remarkable is that they are longtime charitable members of our community. They've been doing this. This isn't the first time. They do this regularly. I don't know how many years, but it's been quite a while. So each beginning of the school year, they deliver for, you know, the children who are under our care, backpacks full of school supplies, so that it's a brand new backpack and great school supplies, so that they are as ready as other children and know that they're taken care of. And then in the spring, they do Easter and have an egg roll or an Easter egg hunt and all kinds of treats. So, you know, it was just really overwhelming, and they did a blessing of the presents and their commitment to our children. They want those very precious children to know that there's a lot of people that really, really care about them and that want to see them have a joyous Christmas morning or Christmas Eve like any other child. And even Children's Services also knows that unfortunately every once in a while a child will come into their care on Christmas Eve even. And so they have a ready supply, so even that child can have some joy and excitement that all other children sometimes take for granted. So I just want to say to them that thank you, thank you, thank you. It was really heartwarming to see, you know, a lot of times people talk about it, but that's about doing it and really giving of not only their purse, but their precious time and caring, so.
Yeah, and it means so much to them. You know, Judy and I were there, and so was my team, Amy and Charlie, when they brought the backpacks. And those guys, and it was all guys, but they said they do have
There was
some
women?
Well, they said they have some women in the club, but for the backpacks, it was just men. And, you know, you look at those guys, and you can't judge a book by its cover. I mean, this one guy, full facial tattoos, and sweetest guy. In fact, one of the local stations interviewed him. It's what he's all about. And they were like, are we still gonna be able to do the Easter egg? Because they didn't get to last year. And I'm like, well, we hope so. But their hearts are so big. It's just, and you're right, when you hear the Harleys coming up the street on Main Street and you hear that rumble, it's just so cool to see them and their vans full of gifts. It's truly, we're just so thankful for them. And they're not just from Montgomery County, they're from the whole region.
Exactly.
But one guy, Matt, you'll appreciate this, we're standing taking a picture with him and, you know, said hi, and he pulled his leather jacket back and he had Montgomery County Environmental Services on his shirt. He goes, this is my passion. And we're like, well, thank you, you know, so it's great.
Yeah.
It is really great. We're so fortunate that those guys have chosen Montgomery County Children's Services to care about.
Yep,
Absolutely.
that's for sure.
Great week.
Yep. Okay, our next commission meeting is going to be Tuesday, December 14th. Now, Madam Clerk is going to be here
No, Board of Elections.
on the mezzanine level in Montgomery
I
County
like this
Board of
though. I like all the screens up there.
I do too.
If you want, that's fine with me.
We'll eventually be back. We'll eventually be back on Zoom.
Yeah.
I move to adjourn.
Second, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.